Hello, I'm Dylan. I'm one of the co-founders and head developer at GlowDriftStudios.
Hi, I'm Luca. I'm the other co-founder of GlowDriftStudios and the head of business operations. And we founded GlowDriftStudios together to bring the world of Merchanteer to life.
I've always wanted to make a game, and I left my job in late February to pursue that dream. I knew I had 2 months to develop the idea and get the idea to be reasonable and everything like that. It was March and April. And I was going to start actually prototyping and doing development in May when my semester came to a close. To first start developing the idea, I looked at some of my favorite games of all time. We have titles like Stardew Valley, Minecraft, Just Cause 3, games like Rust. There's a few other ones. Those are the notable ones that influenced Merchanteer. One of the key factors I pulled out of those was the balance of player freedom and direction. For example, Minecraft, there's a ridiculous amount of freedom. It's a sandbox game. But there's almost too little direction. Minecraft's a great game, right? But you don't always know what to do. Stardew Valley, for example, is the perfect balance, in my opinion, between direction and freedom. And I wanted to take that to Merchanteer. Now that I had that established, I wanted to form the game to strike that perfect balance, just like Stardew Valley does. And to do that, I came up with a rough story. You're a merchant in the Southern Isles, placed with two factions, the pirating faction and the friendly merchant-led faction of Freeport. And your goal is to control the entire map for your faction of Freeport. Pirates will take ports, you'll take them back, you'll defend raids that pirates are doing against ports, and you'll sail alongside a bunch of NPCs. Now this branches us to the very innovative idea that I had and Luca helped come up with, where the game is completely persistent and things are happening all around the map all the time, even if the player is not around. This doesn't exist in a lot of AAA titles and much video games at all, at least that I've played, and it really, I think will help with the immersion. You can be in one port on, let's say, the far left side of the map, and the pirates are taking over a port on the far right, and you hear word of it through an NPC, right? Or it's going to happen soon, and you got to book on over there or something like that. The NPCs are trading cargo across the entire map while you're on the other side of it and you're not trading cargo, and the cargo economy is constantly changing if the NPCs get sank by a rogue pirate or you sink a friendly NPC for some reason, right? It's going to change how the cargo economy reflects and everything in association with that. Blending this perfect balance between freedom and direction, right? The direction of liberating the entire Southern Isles with this idea of world persistence and everything just happening, even if you're not around, I think nails the immersive feel of Merchanteer. So this idea was mostly over the month of March. And rolling into April, I got a little ahead of myself. I knew I was going to start in May. And I said, okay, I need to start prototyping. I was nervous that this was way too optimistic. I immediately started going along the process of choosing a game engine and everything in association with that. I ended up landing on the Godot game engine with C# for a variation of technical reasons. And I immediately started prototyping. This included some of the most complex systems, like setting up the NPC AI frameworks, setting up resource harvesting, all the stuff for the player progression route. So harvesting resources from rocks and trees. That's when I came up with the modular resource system, so the player can choose what combination of wood and metal to use to craft their ship, cannon, or tool. And then that comes with different buffs and things like that. It creates a lot of depth. Now I just had to make the vision of Merchanteer a reality. And that led me to going to the Godot convention in Boston in May. There I talked to a ton of people in all these different stages of the development pipeline of making a game. Usually it was people working alone, but I ended up talking to one team that was there that was towards the final stages of making a naval game like I envisioned for Merchanteer. That process made me realize the extensiveness of the vision I had, and that my vision was incredibly optimistic. With all things considered, I got a little nervous, right? Because there was no world where I wasn't going to finish this game. There's no world where I wasn't going to create this game. But I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to execute the vision to the extent that I had it planned. I got back from the Godot convention, and I reanalyzed the scope of the game. I picked out what made it most unique and immersive, and I decided to focus on those in that moment and prototype them. I got a lot of the core things that make Merchanteer done in the month of June. I clocked some pretty notable hours during that month, and I never really looked up. I was just like, I'm going to make this mostly done as soon as I can. That also included the world simulation. I had at that point, I had an early development trailer published at the end of June, where the NPC AI, the merchants were sailing back and forth between ports and trading cargo. And there was pirates coming in, rogue pirates coming in and sinking them. And there was a cargo economy in place. It was obviously small scale, it was only a few islands. And I was very happy with myself. And I went on a vacation for a week at that point, beginning of July. I had to put the worked on it for a month straight, right? Completely narrowed in on it mentally. And then I went on that vacation, and it gave me a good perspective to take a step back. And when I got back, I looked at my early development video that's still on YouTube, and looked at the progress I'd made over the last month. And, I still was happy with myself, but a new concern kind of rose inside of me. It was the concern of how it looked. Right, a lot of these systems were in place at that point. Probably a good half of the game was programmed and in place. Right, we had the world simulation going. Again, you could harvest resources. The whole gameplay loop was actually functional. Was it polished? Maybe not, but it was functional. And the game didn't look good. I mean, you can look at that trailer. It's all low poly, and I'm not an artist. I'm not a 3D artist. It was all just prototype art. And so at that point, I realized that I absolutely needed a team. And I needed artists. And again, another kind of stressful situation where I realized the future of the game was at jeopardy. I knew I needed to create a team, and I didn't necessarily know how to do that off the start. It's not something I had experience in, but I did know I needed to start looking at forums. I heard about itch.io in the Godot convention, but I ended up making a forum post on itch.io, and Brahim reached out. He was an artist from Morocco, and looking at his portfolio, he really specialized in stylized art. His texturing skills are very good. Since I started working with Brahim, he's worked on the animations, textures, and models for the game, specifically the characters, which have turned out really well. And I know from talking to different artists, character creation, especially if it's higher poly like the ones Brahim has done, is very challenging and takes a ton of time. He's very skilled in that area, and he's helped us develop this style for the game. I think his animations are AA quality, the ones he's done for the character, and they really make the game feel unique and natural. In the search for artists, including another forum post I did after that, we found many different skilled artists who shared our vision for Merchanteer. And since then, and since they've been onboarded to the team and gotten used to the style and such, the art component of the game has increased in quality significantly. With the art improving so much, it still felt like there was something missing from the game, something hindering the immersive experience. And I believe that to be the music. I've loved music in all the games I've played. I listen to them outside of playing the game. I love them so much. They include Stardew Valley and Minecraft especially. And so I put up another forum post for a composer and possibly a sound effect designer as well. And I got a good amount of hits in this post. I think between 10 and 15 people reached out inquiring about joining the project, and I ended up choosing this individual named Robin. In his portfolio, the tracks he had made in the past, they had a lot of depth to them, and they gave this exploration, large open world feel. It reminded me of songs I love from the Minecraft soundtrack especially, but also very unique, but just the general feel of them. I remember especially, Robin will appreciate this, Homestead is on his portfolio, and I love that one. I listened to it a bunch before I officially brought him onto the team. Robin has created a few tracks for us so far, and we've even integrated the Wise audio engine into the game, which we're going to be adding sound bakes in very soon for that. It was his idea. I would have never known about it if it wasn't for him. And he's doing the sound effects, and it's really going to help with the immersive feel. He came up with this great idea for the level system, so different tracks playing depending on the level you are. Robin has revolutionized what I even imagined the sound and music to be for Merchanteer. Dynamic, adaptive, and borderline cinematic is how I describe it. With the development pipeline and what the game was looking like, there was one thing that was really missing. It was the UI. We, for about a month span, looked at recruiting different graphic design artists or UI artists, and they were requiring thousands and thousands of dollars for 1 to 2 menus. I was stressed out. The whole team was a little stressed out because we didn't know how we were going to do the UI. I was going to try to do it alone, and that really isn't up my alley. And I was talking to my friend Owen one day, and he has experience with graphic designs. He was a perfect person to fill the UI spot. And also he shared our vision for Merchanteer, so I knew he could kind of innovate with it and do some unique things. Additionally, he has skills in video editing, which I've seen him do work with Luca for another project, and it's very, very skilled. He's the person behind the camera right now. And he's also going to help Luca directly with the marketing for this game. And so that vast array of skill set really helps the team in ways that I didn't really even know we needed at first, but we definitely do. Another thing we were missing with the Merchanteer was a lot of what indie studios fail with. And I talked to a lot of people in the industry and stuff at the Go convention, people that I talked to after that I met there. And a lot of indie studios just fail at this point. But I talked to Luca when I was worried about it, about joining for the legal business and marketing side of things and in tracking the financials, all that complicated stuff that I don't know what to do. And he has a ton of experience from it, from his education. And he decided to come on, and that was very, very relieving. Additionally, I remember talking to Luca back in May about the economy and back to the whole making the game very responsive to player actions and having that whole world simulation environment. And Luca effectively pioneered the economy system we have in the game today and are continuing to develop. And so not only is his role in the team, handling all the legal and financial and marketing side of things, it's also continuing to help with developing the economy and give it a ton of depth.
I remember back in May when Dylan first brought up the economy of the game, and we ended up going really in-depth about it. We planned out the supply and demand. We made graphs to figure out how just one action in this game, sinking a pirate ship, would translate to the cargo prices. And we thought about all the different ways that the economy of the game could be impacted, and we really planned it out. I think we still have photos from that meeting. It was really interesting, but after that meeting, I didn't really hear a ton. We kind of went our separate ways. I believe it was August. We went and over a drink, we talked about the possibilities of me coming onto the team to help with the business and legal side of the studio and creating a studio. Dylan at the time didn't know how to handle it, and he wanted to focus on making the game a reality, the things that somebody with a vision like this should be focusing on. So when Dylan presented me with the opportunity to join and help with Merchanteer, I was super excited because I shared the vision that he did for the game, and I saw where he was trying to go, and I saw the potential it had. So I joined, and I started working on the business operations, the legal side, the financial side, the marketing of the game, and I'm super excited to start, like with this Kickstarter, raising funds and being able to really see this game through. And I'm super excited personally to start working in the marketing because I can't wait to just display all of the different aspects of Merchanteer to everybody and get it to gamers across the world that will like a game like this, because this is like unlike anything I've seen before, and I can't wait to see it release.
Now that we got the team together and the business handled, the legal handled, the art handled, everything like that, we're in a much better position than we ever were.
So over the past couple months, we've been making a ton of progress on the game. We've been progressing literally everywhere with the game's code, with the game's art, with the game's music. It's looking great. We've handled the business aspects of the game. Everything's looking up. And we got the team together. We've got everybody we need. We sat down one day and we planned out the rest of everything we needed to do until release. And the reality of the situation hit us. We've got everybody we need. We have a unique idea, and we know what we need to do. We just don't have the money to do it yet. All of the software licensing, testing, and developing of the game are constraints on us getting to a finished, polished product. We want to make the best game we can, but we don't have the financial situation right now to be able to get there. If we raise enough money, all of these things become strengths instead of constraints on this project. We can get the finished, polished game that we know will serve the idea and just vision of Merchanteer right. And we know there's a ton of like-minded individuals out there who want a game like this. We're not only building the game of Merchanteer, we're also building the community of Merchanteer behind it. A game's nothing but the community that's there with it. I mean, one of the reasons everybody on the team likes Minecraft so much is partly because of the community. You know, it's so wide-ranging and it's such like a good place to be in. The community just makes it what it is. And that's what we're trying to do too. We're trying to build a community with this game, not just on this Kickstarter, but on the game's Discord, on the game's social medias. I mean, you can follow the development of the game. You can interact with the team while we're making it. All these different things are ways we're trying to build the community of Merchanteer along with the game. So you can get directly involved with it. You can see how we're doing. You can suggest things. You can share in the vision of Merchanteer. More funding will allow us to create a polished, player-ready game. When this game releases, we not only want to release the game, but we want there to be a community with it. We're not only looking to build a community, but we're also looking for feedback. We want a finished game, we want a strong community, and we want to know how we can make this game the best it can be. We like feedback. That's one of the things this Kickstarter lets us do. It lets us build a community, it lets people get involved in the development of the game, and it helps everybody share in the vision of Merchanteer. Part of the way we're building this community is through the stretch goals on the Kickstarter. Once we hit a stretch goal, the community, the people who donated to get to that stretch goal get to vote on what feature they want added. We offer a range of features, and we think the best way for the community to get directly involved in the development is to give us the feedback. What feature do you want to see next? And every time we hit a stretch goal, that's another opportunity for the community to give us their feedback and vote on what will be added next.
Merchant Tier isn't just an idea anymore. It's an incredibly unique game that's going to have a huge community with ideas influenced by you.